is a night for you and your teammates. You will hear short season recaps, so players will receive individual awards, and most importantly, your coaches will present every one of you with a team pin to commemorate your season. But before your coaches come up and say some nice things about your team and your season, on behalf of all of us in this room, I'd like to give a big thank you to some people. First, I'll thank all of you in advance for the perfect comportment that you're about to show. Thank you for looking sharp in your school uniform, and thank you for the respect that you will show every single speaker and every single team. Thank you to Ms. Perot and Ms. Underhill in the Health Center for being the medical professionals that they are. Thank you to Mrs. Andrews and Mr. McDonald for running the intramural program. Thank you to Mr. Beaupre and Mrs. Wilkinson for bringing the Outdoor Pursuits program to the next level. I look forward to seeing it grow some more next year. Thank you to maintenance, laundry, our drivers, and our kitchen staff who work with us to make sure that all of our program needs are provided for. And trust me, all those people aren't just punching a clock here at Stanstead. They go the extra mile for you because they care about you. Thank you to the woman who is really in charge of the athletics department, Ms. Alta Sheldon. Alta, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you do. And finally, a thank you to your coaches. Folks, you don't know how good you've got it. And I'm not just talking about X's and O's and planning practice. I'm talking about the whole experience. Your coaches are always planning, always teaching, always trying to make your experience as memorable as possible. So they're going to be thanking you tonight, but I hope you take the time to thank them as well. So a big round of applause to all those people I mentioned, the people who made the first time. Let's kick things off with the Bantam girls soccer team and Mrs. Smith.
First of all, thank you to all the supporters and the behind-the-scenes people. As Mr. Van Dyke said, thank you, Mr. Van Dyke, and the Health Center and everyone else for, especially all the other soccer coaches, for your support, for your tips for how to coach Bantam girls. I want to start the evening actually with our awards tonight, and then finish by speaking about the team. So we're giving 2 awards, our sportsmanship and 1 Bantam S. We have 1 player who is always ready to push harder, run faster, challenge herself to take the extra step, go the extra mile, to keep up with Ms. Reynolds on training days, to be the first one to practice, to be the one to pick up the balls, who would bring the med kit, who would go get ice, who would do whatever needed to be doing. So she's always a good sport. Thank you very much. And Tammy, please join me in congratulating Tammy Wood Downey on sportsmanship. Make them look really short? Yeah. Well, I'll stand up here and make them look really short. So choosing award recipients is difficult at the best of times, but it's even more so when the season is not very successful. For those of you who didn't hear about our season, yeah, it was rough. Most of our games were decided sort of by a score of a couple of touchdowns to nothing. But we have 1 player who put her heart and soul into every game. They all did, but 1 stood out like above the others. She listened to our advice. She became a real leader. She paid attention at practice. She communicated with her teammates, and she always tried to set up an offense. In our second to last game, we played in the pouring rain, freezing cold. We played 8 against 11. And we lost, but towards the end of the second half, the ball got taken away from her, and she turned around and she put her head down and she put it into second gear and said, "No, that's my ball." And she turned and ran back, and Sophia got the ball back, and she never looked back. Her skills improved tremendously over the course of the season, so much so that when the juniors needed some players to come up and help them out, she was a natural choice. So please join me in congratulating Sophia Farfan on of girls who came out to try out for the Bantam girls soccer team in September. There were 9 of them to be exact. And yes, Miss Reynolds and I actually went to cross-country running and outdoor pursuits and tried to convince, okay, maybe bribe a few more Bantam Major candidates to join us. We didn't have any luck, but thankfully 2 girls came down from the junior team, knowing that they'd be getting a little more playing time. Little did they know that they would play every single minute of every single game. So thank you, Geneva and Lucan. Your help was fantastic. So a definition of team is the number of persons associated in some joint action, a number of persons forming one of the sides in a game or contest, a troop, a side, an organization, a squad, a gang, or a unit. So we came to the conclusion that we were a unit. We played as a unit, we lost as a unit, we tied 1 game as a unit, and yes, we thoroughly got creamed as a unit. But over the course of the entire season, never once did anyone point a finger to say, it was your fault, you should have covered her, why didn't you run back in defense? The girls played as a team. They helped each other out, and most of the time we played our games 11 against 8, 11 against 9, and the other teams had 3 or 5 or even 7 subs on the bench. In one game in particular, the coach would take all but 1 player off and put a whole new slot of girls on. And our girls just kind of went, okay, here we go again. And every 8 minutes it changed, and new legs came on, and we just kept on playing. Another thing to point out with teamwork, over the course of the season, our goalie got a concussion, but no worries. I'll play miss, that's okay. I'll step up and play goalie, and everyone wanted to help out. So who are the Bantam girls soccer players? Our defense, Tammy Wood Downey, Sophia Farfan, Lucianne Botten, Jessica Daniluk, and Sophie Beauregard. While a lot of shots got by you girls, you never quit, you never gave up, and you always gave it your best shot. The best game of the season was probably at Richmond. We lost, but you girls were fierce, tireless, and you were true Spartans. We scored our first goal in that game, and that's the week that you guys were all nominated as Athlete of the Week. The whole team, because of your true team effort. Our midfield, Lorelei, Grenier, Julia Ballinger, and Dominique Houdon, tireless, all the time. These girls covered more ground over the course of the season than all the soccer players in the MLS combined, I think. The 3 of them played every game, up and down the field, no subs, ever. On that game at Richmond, we scored our first goal. Yes, Julia scored. You would have thought we'd won the World Cup. And Dominic and Lorelei, they got really mad because the other girls were pushing. And Lorelei came up at halftime. She goes, "Miss, I'm really getting mad." And we said, "Okay then, play harder." Okay, and she went. Our forwards, on a good day we had 2 of them. Some days we played with 1 of them. Simone Sasuda and Mariama Barry. 2 of the most gentle girls on the face of the planet until you put them on a soccer pitch and take the ball away from them. Watch out. Lastly, our goalie, a very quiet girl who developed into a force to be reckoned with as the season progressed. She was fearless, and then she turned into a ninja. She faced something like probably about 1 million shots this year. And yes, a lot of them went in, but a whole lot more didn't go in. In fact, a crazy amount of shots did not go in. She was rock solid. Geneva Coffey, thank you for all your incredible work. Tough season, but we all have something to remember that will bring a smile to our faces. Well done, girls. Please come up and get your pins.
Bantam boys soccer, Miss Roby Tye.
This term, I had the chance to... Is it okay? Can you hear me? This term, I had the chance to coach the Bantam boys. I started the year with only 7 players. For almost 2 weeks, I desperately searched for players to complete my team. I even had to promise my players a McFlurry so they can recruit enough players, but it didn't work. So, we started our first game with only 10 players, and I was surprised with the result. We won. I was really happy, but I think the board were more happy to have a dinner at McDonald's than to have won that game. So let's summarize a little bit my season. So briefly, let's say that at the beginning of the year, the players did not seem to know each other very well, but it didn't take a long time before they learned to play as a team. Each player had their strengths and their weaknesses, but they helped each other to win several games. They grew together and became a family. The growth that they had from the beginning to the end was clearly shown by the way they played and the hard work they showed. I could not hope better for my first year as a soccer coach. I have so many good memories with them that I will never forget. For example, of course, our many supper at McDonald's, where they were eating so many apple pies, or they were looking for the McDonald's coupons, the Monopoly coupons, sorry. Or simply before the games, when we were betting about how late the referees will be. I think the best thing I remember about them is how people from different countries and social groups became really close friends. So I would like to thank my team for that great season and for all the laugh I had with you, and also for all the emotion you made me live. I would also like to thank my son, who helped me as an assistant coach. Also, I would like to thank our wonderful Elta for your help to make sure all the boys didn't forget anything, and especially helped me, I don't remember how many times, trying to get Zach's uniform back. Right, Zach? Yeah. So I would like to invite all my team in front to receive your pin. Part where I need to highlight a few people who stood out during the season. I found it really hard this year to select people because I think for me, everybody deserves it. The first prize I have to give is the Sportsmanship Award. I had a bunch of kids who deserves it because they had such a good attitude, but I gave it to Samuel and Nicolas because they were the 2 players who never gave up even though we were losing 6-0 against Galway. They were still trying to do their best and cheering for the team. So congrats, boys. not the one who scored the most goals during the season. Because you know what? At the end of the year, nobody's going to remember their stats. For me, a player came to my mind when I think about how important he was for the team. In soccer, it's important to have good players who can score goals, right? But it's even more important to have someone who you can trust when it comes time to stop the ball. Today, I would like to give this award to Holly, who showed extraordinary skills that made him a great goalkeeper. A couple of times, he helped the team by making awesome saves. I can remember one especially against Macedonia. The game was tied 2-2, and they got a penalty shot. Holly made an extraordinary dive to stop the ball. That gave us the chance to win the game. And even though he was sometimes a little bit grumpy, he showed that he was devoted to the team and that he will never let the team down. With his many silly but funny comments and his powerful voice screaming all over the place, he managed to make his teammates laugh and bring them as a team. So congrats.
Our next program to be recognized, Junior Girls Soccer, Mr. G.
Hi everybody. Just a couple of quick thanks. First, when I started working here in 2001, in my second year here, Mr. Van Dyke was Director of Student Life, and he was kind of like a boss to me. And this year is his first year as Athletic Director, and I just got to say that I'm really, really happy to have him back as my boss in athletics, and he does a super job, and he really makes our jobs easier as coaches. He understands what it takes to be ahead of us all the time, so I really appreciate it. Welcome back, bro. Next to Alta, if I can just call you moms. It's like a team mom to everybody in this room, and everybody knows you should thank your mom as often as possible so you get lots of thanks. So thank you, Mom. We love you, Mama Alta. And one very special mention to Coach Logan Vanass. I was standing on the sidelines waiting for refs. Soccer players know what I mean, waiting for refs, right? We're waiting every game, it seems. And Olivia, the physio, comes up to me on the sideline. We're chatting for like 10 minutes, and she says to me, you know what? I've been the physio at a lot of games for various levels, high school and university, and I've seen a lot of teams, and this school is really special. The way you guys do things, you coaches, the way you keep your athletes kind of respectful and the integrity that I see. And then she says, especially your junior boys coach. He's amazing. The way that he's got a really tough age group and he's got tons of boys on his team, and I've just seen him, the way that he keeps them in line and keeps them from, saying inappropriate things or whatever, and they get a little bit out of control or whatever, like they do. And so I thought Coach Vanass would like to hear that. Where is he? And the cool thing, The cool thing about Coach Vanass in his first year coaching soccer is that he learned from one of the best, Coach Graham Chandler, who we all learned our soccer from. He's a little bit of a guru for soccer at our school. He's now in charge of soccer for the province of Nova Scotia. He learned from the best, and the cool thing about it is that in a private school, these things get handed down, so there's that tradition, which I think is really cool. He was a student here, and now he's passing down those values to you guys, and you guys maybe one day will pass them down to others. So I think that's really cool. Last but not least, my assistant coach, Nat, because she's Nat and she's amazing. So I only have one quick message about the junior girls for all of you. I hope it applies to all of you. A couple of weeks ago, there was a gentleman named Wynne Dyer doing a speech up here in the church about climate change. And, it was a bit of a, what I call a doom and gloom kind of a speech, right? It was, his facts, I'm sure if you fact check him, his facts are 100% accurate. But it's a little bit, cynical, I guess, pessimistic about what's going to happen in 15 and 20 years down the road if global warming kind of gets out of control and the feedbacks kick in and all that sort of thing. Everything that he talked about, I don't need to get into it. But I remember thinking, okay, I got to talk about this with my grade 10 ethics classes. Like I teach grade 10s, and so I debriefed that speech a little bit just to see what was their take. What did they think about that speech? And they said to me, "Sir, it's kind of depressing, really. Like what could we do? What can we do about this? Like, we don't know. Like, what can we do?" And you shrug your shoulders and you throw your arms up and you're like, we don't know what to do. So, you're all wondering what this has to do with junior girls soccer, I'm sure. Junior girls soccer is like climate change. And I don't just mean like coaching Hurricane Dahlia and Tropical Storm Jasmine. And Abby Murray is a thing unto herself. But what I do mean is that in our league this year, there was a team that was unbeatable, Massivania. They were ridiculously good. They could have given our senior girls a run for their money. And so there was no beating them. They beat everybody in the league. They won the semis, they won the finals, they won the league, they won the championship, they won everything. So they were just that good. It happens, right? Sometimes you get a good team. So what do? We have this daunting task in front of us. We finished 4th, they finished 1st. We were going to meet in the semifinal. So I remember clearly that last week, when we went to practice before the semifinal on Wednesday, I remember my team being out on the field and everybody else was gone on the fan bus to see the senior boys and senior girls at Galt play their finals. And there was no one behind the school, no one on the fields, no one was out there except my team working as hard as they possibly could. And I remember having that thought going, man, we are working as hard as we can right now to try to get this done. We're not shrugging, we're not putting up our hands going, what can we do about this thing that we can't beat, right? And then on Friday, I asked a couple of senior girls, Maya and Kayla and Ashley, I said, do you think you could get your team to play us? And they're like, yeah, sure, sir, we'll do this. We can do that. We can make your team better by playing you, because I needed to play a better team in order to, try our new team shape against them on the next day in the semifinal. It worked. We didn't win. Make no mistake. We didn't win. They beat us 3-0 in the first game. They beat us 4-0 in the second game. And they probably should have beat us 3 or 4, maybe 5-0. They only beat us 2-0, and the second goal came in the last 5 minutes on a handball in the box. So really, they only beat us 1-0. And I remember at the half, it was 0-0, and Mr. Van Dyke, I think the only fan there, was standing behind me, and he says, "Coach, this is working. This is working. You have a chance. The other team is frustrated." I can hear them say, come on, girls, what's wrong? Come on, girls. We frustrated the other team who were way better than us. They were beating everybody in the league. And so the lesson, just to tie it back to Wynne Dyer's speech, is don't give up. You can't. It's your job. It's your responsibility, right? You just can't give up. You just got to keep hope alive and find a way. Develop a strategy. Find something to make it work. And that's what I remember this team for. You guys never quit and you worked hard. And to me, you should be really proud of these pins. That's what they represented. So come on up and get them. So 3 awards. This was tough for me. I'm going to do all 3 at the same time. You guys can come up at the same time. It's not going to take long. This was actually hard for me this year. I actually had to put some thought into it because we had some really good, the girls tried hard. It's one of those things where like some years you get girls who are all about the same level, and it was a really tough decision for me to make. So I'm not going to get into the honorable mentions or anything like that. I'm just going to call up the 3 award winners. And the first is for sportsmanship, and the 2 S's after that. This girl, I think the whole team would agree that she was the hardest working girl on our team, and I don't mean in games. Everybody tries hard in a game. Coaches don't really care that much about games, or maybe I might be unique, but I care more about practice. Are you working hard in practice? And Beth Campbell works hard in every single practice, so she deserves the sportsmanship award. And the 2 S's go to Frick and Frack, the Bobbsey twins. People know them, I think. They probably know who they are. Alyssa McPherson is probably the best goalie that the Junior Girls League has possibly ever seen. She's going to be incredible at senior girls level as well, I'm sure. And thanks to her, we kept all of our games close, 1-0, 1-1 type of games all season long. She was amazing. Some games she was making 30 saves, which is a lot in soccer. It's not like hockey, right? And Alex Smith, I'm going to miss you as a captain. You've been with us for 2 years, and you're amazing. You're a little bit like Maya Daigle. You have vision on the field. You can position yourself perfectly all the time, and I think you're going to be that person who's going to take her spot next year on the senior girls team. So come on up, all 3. All at the same time. Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Now, representing junior boys soccer from the Graham Chandler coaching tree, Mr. Logan Maness.
All right, so you probably think that Mr. G and myself planned this out. We wrote something about each other in our speech, but quickly I was looking through it and I didn't say anything, so just off the cuff, a few words to Mr. G. Thank you. First off, I'd like to thank Ms. Alta. Like everyone, I arrived for games. Sometimes a few minutes before we jumped on the bus, she had everything ready. Never had to plan anything. Thank you. To the Health Center, Mr. Van Dyke for scheduling all the games. I appreciate it. Also, shout out to Mr. Ryu, who I was able to coach with last year, who taught me a lot. And of course, Mr. Blair, who anytime he could come for a practice or a game was there despite a busy travel schedule. So the first day of our soccer season, early September, started out with 39 junior boys soccer players. Yes, you heard me, 39 junior soccer boys. So we're looking to cut this down to about 25 players. So after a few cuts and some players leaving to go to other sports, we were able to get 25 players. So our first game was after one practice. We traveled down to Tilton. We were able to come out with a 3-2 win, which really propelled us into our strong season. So the 2 main things I want to focus on with the team that we had, a very young team but a very strong team, was skill development and also consistency. So the skill development part was very easy. We had a very strong group who were all very good athletes. But the consistency, I expected them to show up every single day, whether it's practice or a game, and be ready to play. You don't have to be the best player, but you can always try hard and put in a good effort. And really, that really helped us all season long. We played 10 games in our EDX season. We had 6 wins, 3 losses, 1 tie, and this led us to get the championship banner that you see up here. So some of the highlights of our season included a 4-0 beatdown against BCS at homecoming. Most of you probably saw it. As a former Spartan, it's always nice to see us be able to beat BCS in such a way with so many people watching. If you watched that game, you probably saw Kieran Gallant, our striker, score 3 goals. So we played a 4-5-1 system. So we had four defenders, 5 midfields, 1 striker. Most teams play with 2 strikers, we only played with 1. Because Kieran was able to just, get the ball turned, make a play, and score goals for us. When Kieran wasn't the guy striking, we were lucky enough to have Caleb Goodrow. When he was in there, he is an absolute speedster. So you just feed him the ball, he can beat anybody, and he was able to score some goals for us. Another highlight was a 2-2 tie against Salesian. This happened here against really the strongest competition we had all year. And that game we were able to tie because of our back line. We had a very strong back line, so our defensemen, at the beginning of the year, their job was just defending. As the season moved on, they were able to switch the ball, make plays, and join the offense. So our defense included our starters of BJ, Jeremy, Patrick, Andreas, and coming off the bench, we were fortunate enough to have Todd, Hugo, Felix, Quinton, Henry, and Anthony. Another highlight would be the 8-5 win that we had in Richmond. Yes, it's not often you get to see 13 goals in a soccer game, but playing at Richmond, we were able to get to see 13 goals. We scored 8 of them and came out on top. It was really our midfields that dominated that game. So our midfielders included Philip, Olivier, Matt, Tyler, Martin, Andrew, Tim, Patrick, Matthew, Dolan, James, just to name a few. And we also had Javier. Javier was a stopper, so for those of you who don't know soccer, a stopper is somebody who plays in front of the defenseman. I think there was a bit of a language issue where he thought he was a striker and not a stopper, so often he was in front of our strikers, but that's all right. He did a great job back there helping the midfields all season long. And really the biggest win of our season came playing the same Salesian team in Sherbrooke. We were able to win 3-2 on a great corner kick at the end of the game that we've been practicing for days. Mr. Blair said that week, if you guys score a goal on a corner, I will buy you all Timbits. He still hasn't followed through on this, so our team's still expecting Timbits from him. So at the last play of the game, Marty Lefebvre was able to put in a corner. So everyone remembers the great finish by Marty, but that wouldn't have been possible without great goaltending by Andre Bucatel. He stopped the penalty shot in that game and really came up with a lot of timely saves, not only in that game, but all games for us this season. And maybe our most improved player of the season was Mario. He was our backup keeper. At the beginning of the season, I wasn't sure if he was going to get in any games. He's not as experienced as soccer. But by the end, he played 1 full game, and he played 3 half games for us. So he was definitely the most improved player. Then playoffs came around. We won 2-1 in rain fest, so it was just pouring rain. There was water everywhere on the field. We beat BCS again 2-1. And in the finals, we lost, unfortunately, to Salesian 2-1. But what I want this team to remember is that during the season, we were the most consistent team. In the 10 games, we won the regular season. So winning all those games, being consistent, allowed us to be the best team and win the banner that will go up in the gym. And that's more important than losing 1 game when really the conditions determine who was the better team and not us. So I'd like to invite Mr. Blair and the junior boys to come to the front and get their pictures. All right, now that half the school has their pitch with my soccer team, we'll move on to the individual awards. All right, so I'm doing 3 S's in the Sportsmanship Award. I'll ask all 3 of them to go together to accept their awards. So So the first two go to two players who were center midfields for us. Playing midfield is tough. You've got to be a good defender in your own end, inside your 18 box, and also be an offensive player in the other team's 18-yard box. So this goes to the two guys who started every single game at center midfield for us. They did a great job. One of them is the smallest player on the team, one of the few people here that are smaller than me. And he was able to use his heart, his determination to win a lot of balls and really help us this year, and that's Olivier Daniel. And the second one is Philip Martel, who is by far the most consistent player for us all year. He won balls in the midfield and contributed a lot offensively. The third winner is our striker. This season he scored over half our goals. As I said, we only played with one striker, so we relied on him heavily in a lot of games to score for us. So that's Kieran Glenn. So I'd ask all three of them to come up, please. All right, the final award is the Sportsmanship Award. This goes to a very special young man, and all year, one of the most important things for me that I learned from Mr. Ryu is not only having good soccer players and good athletes, but also having good people on your team who know how to do the right thing. So whether it's picking up the balls after practice, picking up the flags after a game to help out Miss Alta, whether it's packing the uniforms after a game so that they're in the bag and they all get turned in, really anything you need, whether it's writing the lineup. This young man was able to do all that for me. And if you watch some of our soccer games this year, unfortunately you wouldn't have seen him play any games. But he was part of the team. He didn't dress for any games, but every single practice he came out, he worked as hard as he could, and he improved every single game. And that's why the sportsmanship goes to, I call him Triple H, Henry Herman Haas.
The next program to be recognized is actually the first program of the night that can give out major S awards and an MVP trophy. So, and for major S's and trophies, we all stand to acknowledge the award winners. Representing the cross-country running team, Mr. Pasinovich.
At the start of every school year, students have a chance to try out various sports. Most of them team sports, which embody cooperation, teamwork, planning, and strategies to win. Cross-country running only requires a pair of shoes. It's an individual sport where your opponents, more often than not, are the limitations you impose on yourself. The worry that the physical discomfort, blurred visions, gasping breath, and a desperation to cross that finish line are the personal challenges that a runner imposes on themselves. It is an individual sport that does not even require regular terrain to compete on. The season always starts with runners ranging from some to no competitive experience. They are unsure that they have chosen the right sport to start their athletic career, but they are certain that they want to be challenged. I want to take a moment to thank our assistant coach, Mr. Phillip, whose passion for competitive sports and regular monitoring of all our races always guaranteed that our runners received the recognition and the correct times that they deserved. He was the brick and mortar that held the team together. I would also like to thank Alta, who always made sure that we were ready for all races, Mr. Stefan Deswine, all our drivers for getting us to and from our competitions, Ms. Perron and Mrs. Underhill for their assistance in dealing with our regular stream of injured runners, and of course Mr. Van Dyke for organizing a great season and helping to manage the results of our own race that we hosted, which turned out to be interesting. I would also like to take a moment to thank Mr. McDonald and Mrs. Andrews, along with the members of the intramural team, that helped in the organization of our race. A final thanks to all our runners. Your playful spirit, willingness to improve, and set personal challenge to yourself were inspiration. You showed that anyone can achieve their goals with hard work and perseverance, along with a healthy fear of snow and not. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, and hope you take with you to other sports what you have learned these past 2 months. Though we did not bring the banner home, you are all winners in our eyes. Thank you, runners, and don't forget to eat your other presto and ice cream. If the whole cross-country running team could please come up to get their pins. On to the awards. Our first award goes to our regular medal-winning runner, Alisa Shimada. Alyssa has been a powerhouse whose minimum standard for excellence is gold and gold only. Though she was not always able to achieve this at every race, and she took it very personally, she was able to improve at each race. A strong desire to be the best, competitive spirit, and a strong love for running. Alyssa is deserving of the Bantam S. Alyssa, if you could please come up to receive your award. The next award goes for a team captain. This young man is a natural runner and loves his sport. A team leader, his experience and maturity were the backbone of our team. Whether he was taking more experienced runners on adventure trails, helping with pre- and post-practice stretches, sharing his knowledge with new runners, or being the voice of our team, Samuel DeGrasse was there putting in the extra time and effort, all with a smile, not a single complaint, even if it was snowing. Could Samuel DeGrasse please come up to receive his Senior S? The Sportsmanship Award this year is awarded to a runner whose positive attitude, consistent effort in practices, and improvements in race times have made her deserving of this award. She's the first and the last to scream with all her voice her support for her fellow runners, along with runners from competing schools. Her maturity and love for the sport is evidenced in every train she runs, and she always believes that she can do better and achieve more. An inspiration to all of our runners and as to coaches, I would like to ask Misha Hubacek to come up and receive the cross-country running Sportsmanship Award. The final award we'll be giving out this evening is the Most Valuable Player Award. This year is an exception. It is co-awarded to two amazing runners who have set the mark that future generations will find difficult to beat. They run for fun and they run to compete. They set high standards for themselves and achieve them. Always leading their team in every practice and showing that anything is possible through hard work and determination. The MVP award winners for this year's cross-country running team go to Samuel DeGrasse and Alyssa Shimada. Please come up and receive your awards. Thank you everyone for your time, and may you all enjoy the benefits of terrestrial locomotion. Please run. Thank you.
Next program to be recognized is Senior Boys Soccer. Please welcome the Doctor of Soccer, Dr. Stanstead.
Good evening. I'd like to start off by thanking, of course, Alta for all the work again. Went perfectly, equipment was always there, uniforms went back dirty, came out clean every time, so thank you, Alta. I'd also like to thank Mr. Blair, wherever he is, for his last-minute partnering of Case. That tournament wouldn't have been anything like as easy without his presence. And he can write a match report quicker than most people can blink, so thank you for Mr. Blair. I'd also like to thank Mr. Van Dyke and his team for all the behind-the-scenes stuff. It's a new regime, and so far it's pretty good. I'd also like to, of course, mention the fact that I shouldn't be standing here. Mr. Samad, of course, is the senior boys coach. Unfortunately, he was taken ill halfway through the season. Which means that you've got to listen to me instead. Happily, he seems to be making a pretty good recovery, and we all wish him the best and hope to see him up here talking to you soon. The theme for this little chat is hard work and teamwork, and BCS might come up a couple of times as well. The highlight of any season is a trip to Case. It's like the little World Cup of senior soccer. Unfortunately, Mr. Quinn, Mr. Quinn had the same experience that we had a couple of years ago, and he's blaming the hurricane. This year we have to go up to TCS, where there is no wind, in Port Hope, Ontario. Ironically, if that's the word, last time we were there, I was actually working for the senior boys as well, and it's actually the best we've ever done there. We were 5th there 8 years ago, in 2008. Nothing to do with me, but we did have a team that was absolutely dripping with talent, of which, of course, Mr. Vanas was a member. This year, of course, when we headed that way, we really realised pretty quickly that talent wasn't going to be enough to get us through that tournament. Not that we don't have talented players, but that year we had a great deal of depth of talent. And many of them you saw at the homecoming game when they schooled the senior girls and the senior boys combined. This year, of course, we had to rely more on our hard work and teamwork. We arrived there, we played the first team we played were actually the finalists in the end, and they gave us a good schooling. And because of that, we actually played the rest of the tournament pretty freely. We realised where our weaknesses were, and we managed to fill some of those gaps and play. Other two teams who played in that group were pretty talented teams. One of them went on to the gold division, and we lost by 1 goal late in the game by playing less than optimal soccer for a few seconds. When we came back, of course, it's a different story. We realised where our strengths were. We went on to beat Macedania pretty comprehensively, and then we ended up playing BCS again. Now BCS we were starting to develop a history with. Just before Case they beat us 3-0. During Case in the final of the Bronze Division, we completely outplayed them, especially the first half, and ended up losing on penalties. One thing we realised is that hard work and teamwork really don't factor into penalties much. That's more about execution and luck. First game back, as I said, we beat Macedania, and then we hammered BCS at BCS. Anybody who was there would have seen that that was comfortably our best game of the season. Not only did we dominate, but we actually started to score goals as well, and that's a pretty lethal combination. That set us up for a semi-final in the Etiac playoffs against BCS at BCS. So once again, we had to go out there. We were pretty confident. We thought we've got their number now. But you know, despite outplaying them for the first half, we managed to finish that half 2-1 down. The whole of the second half, we were knocking at the door, trying to get that equaliser, and it wasn't happening right up to the end. It's a dark, gloomy day, so there was nobody there but the teams. 2 minutes before the end, we get a free kick, and to be honest, I think that's the best free kick I've ever seen. You can set the scene 25 metres out, just off to the left. We thought we were probably going to lose this one, we were kind of resigned, and then Maurizio Sanchez hit the perfect ball. An inch lower, and it's on the goalkeeper's fingertips, it's over. An inch higher, it hits the bar, it comes back. It was right in that corner. Of course, that cleared the bench. We thought we were in the overtime, we thought we'd rescued ourselves. And the last minute, the last kick of the game almost, we then give away a penalty. Okay, so doom and gloom again, but then up steps Kiefer, makes, I would say, a great save. Wasn't the greatest penalty in the world, but any save. A save is a save, and if there's one thing Kiefer's shown this year, especially with the penalties in the case, he knows how to save a penalty. So that put us into the overtime, and up steps again, very near the end with about a minute to go, up steps Will Huckins, and heads it out the goalkeeper's hands pretty much up there, and the game's over, we're in the final. Now we didn't win that final, but we gave them a good run, and there was just a bit of time towards the end after Will Huckins had scored again, where we thought we might be able to do what we did last year and sneak an equaliser and get through on penalties again. But all through this, teamwork and hard work, right from the beginning of those games that we won and we did well at, we set off early. Early in the season when we were just tying games, we were slow off the gates, and the teamwork and the hard work just wasn't there. So teamwork and hard work are basically the theme of my awards, starting off with a pin for every hard-working player on the team. So Senior Boys Soccer, become please. As always, awards is a tricky thing to do, especially if we don't actually win any trophies or banners. So I'm pretty confident that these awards will be justified and that they're well earned. Peter Kai is up choosing for the Sportsmanship Award. Peter turned up as our manager on first day, couldn't play soccer, wouldn't have made the team if he'd tried. But he's a damn good manager. He turns up, the cones are laid out, the equipment's there, the balls are brought, he'll go and get things if you need them. He's polite, he's ready to go. So Peter Kai, Sportsmanship Award. seniors, which I'll do at once. First one, Mauricio Sanchez. That free kick alone justifies almost any award you can give. But that wasn't the only thing Mauricio did this year. He actually scored earlier in that game, and he does have a knack for scoring goals at crucial times. So for that, and all the hard work he did up front, creating chances and making goals, Mauricio Sanchez, Senior S. The other Senior S goes to one of the engines in the middle of the field. When this guy's clicking, the team is working. If this guy's not working or he's not on his form, we notice the team's not working. By the end of the year, by the end of the season, he was on fire. He scored in the final. He scored the winning goal, as I mentioned earlier. So a Senior S to Will Huggins. First major S then, the other engine in the midfield. This guy, again, when it's working, the team is working. He can spread the ball wide, he can get in people's faces, win the 50-50 balls, and of course as one of the captains of the team like Will is, he showed a great deal of leadership during the season. When he scores, they're often spectacular goals from the outside the area, and again he has a knack of scoring at just the right time that gets us going. So Major S, Andrew Stevens. Second major S we're awarding is for a defender. Now this defender, he likes to creep up a bit, and that allowed him to score some quite nice goals. But his real strength was getting back, and every time the ball was kicked over and one of our defenders was in trouble, basically getting handed down by a faster forward, he'd be cutting across or coming in at speed just to clear the ball. Without this guy in defence, we would have found it hard to win any games or get any points. So Major S for Marciano Sanchez. I've never seen anybody work as hard as this guy works. He just kept running and running and running. Hard work is, I guess his middle name, as it were. I had to take him off for 10 minutes each half just because I wanted to give him a rest so he could keep doing what he was doing. He got in people's faces, he won 50-50 balls, he chased people down, he was all over the field. The only thing I wish he'd done is score more goals. And the only reason I say that is because he created so many opportunities that, he could have had a hat-trick every game and didn't. It seemed that for the beginning of the season he was spurning one opportunity after the other. And then after Case, or during Case, when he started to put the ball in the net, it really was noticeable. He was noticed by coaches at Case as the guy who was working really hard. We made him the unofficial NBB Case case MVP, sorry. So the major S and the MVP for the season goes to Diego Gill. Final thank you to you, the players and the team. Thanks for a great season, and hope to see some of you next year.
Is it center? Final program of the night: senior girls senior girls soccer. The rookie, Mr. Quinn.
First and foremost, we've heard her name before tonight. Ms. Alta, thank you for all that you do. As a rookie coach and as a rookie teacher, you made it so all I have to do is worry about coaching. So thank you very much for everything you've done for me and you've done for the senior girls soccer team and every team here today. Taking over for you for this team was some big shoes to fill, and you made it as easy as possible for me. You know, giving me as much practice time that I needed, not scheduling the defending champion right off the bat. So thank you, including late night talks to keep me motivated throughout the year. And finally, Coach Hamilton, thank you for training the teenage girls for me. I very much appreciate it. Now, I've been thinking long and hard about exactly what I was going to say tonight. How can one try to sum up a season's worth, and in some cases, a lifetime's worth of work and effort in soccer into a 5-minute speech? Coach Van Dyke insists that it's possible, and as the rookie on the faculty, I have no choice but to give it a shot. But I can honestly say from the bottom of my heart that there's not enough time in this world to describe what the senior girls team accomplished this season and what they've come to mean to me. So, this was my first time ever coaching girls, and honestly, I had no idea what to expect. And now that the season's come to an end, I can honestly say I still have no idea what to expect. But that's what's so amazing about this team. There was a surprise every single day, and it was unbelievable to be a part of. I believe I can confidently come to the conclusion that I, and probably every other male in this room, will never understand women. So guys, stop trying. Many of the talks tonight I talked about records and specific games. That's not my approach. If you followed senior girls, we lost 3 games all year. It was a hell of a season. We accomplished a lot. But my highlights, and most of the girls' highlights, had nothing to do with the results of the game. And that's what I'm going to focus on tonight. I believe that the biggest testament to this team is their unrelenting support of each other. Day 1 of practice included 19 girls coming out for tryouts, 5 of which said to me that they were only coming out for 2 days because they had to, and then they're going to go off to a league sport or cross country. 2 of those were too old to participate in EDIAC. When we ended the season, we still had all 19 girls. All of which got to play in games this year. And again, two of those included players who had not only never played soccer before, but had never been a part of a competitive team. We started with 19, and we ended with 19. That is a better scoreline or record than I ever could have asked for, and it was all because of you. Our season itself had its fair share of ups and downs. I'd like to think the ups definitely outweighed the downs, and in fact, I can really only think of one down, and as a team, we promise that we'd never talk about it again. So let's just leave it there. The ups are too numerous to mention in full, but I would remiss not to try to embarrass my team a little bit. So some highlights from the season include, and these are from them, these are their words, obviously going to Bermuda. Where are you going, Mike? Chloe's warm-up and stretching, and her attempts at what she claims is a push-up. Emily Campbell's wrestling technique on the field. Chasing other teams off the field who dared to try to step on our field. Emily G, Amy, and Julia's misunderstanding of my soccer terms. Excuse my French, but pep talks. Sideline dancing, pen throwing, and my apparent need for a swear jar. Sita's love of her Mexican buns. Coach Hamilton and the girls' warm-up talks, which included me needing to wear earmuffs. Amy and Tanya being the best teammates / managers we ever could have hoped for. The Timbit cake and candy practice. Push-ups, and thanks to Kayla, more push-ups. And a personal favorite of mine, the girls believe that I can't speak or understand French. So I was able to pick up and learn a lot, including but not limited to Coach Hamilton and the girls' pregame talks, and Kayla's and the other girls' secret crushes. Now, these are all fun and enjoyable things, but none of them really have anything to do with us actually playing soccer. But for me, that's what being part of the team is all about. It's the little things that we will always remember. Now, I would get in a little trouble not if I didn't speak about any of the highlights of what the girls experienced. And again, these are just little snippets of an unbelievable season that the girls had. And again, these come straight from the girls' mouths and their sort of highlights. So, getting better every single day. Nutmegs or cinnamon. Bonding as a team. Becoming family. Making the best year of soccer for many, including many of the seniors. Playing our best soccer at the end of the year. Playing the beautiful game against BCS in Macedonia. Max header against Gulf, which honestly is one of the best goals I've ever seen anywhere at any level. The championship game against Gulf, and although we didn't get the result we wanted or probably deserved, the way the girls responded, the way the team responded in the second half was everything a coach or a teammate could ever ask for. Starting with 19, ending with 19, our last team hug, and the blood, sweat, and literal tears that were shed for the girl sitting next to you. I've always believed that it's not a right to play for a team, it's a privilege. It was a privilege to coach this team, and I have to say thank you to all 19 of you for letting myself and Coach Hamilton be a part of your world. You represented your school, friends, and family in a way that should all make you very proud. I've been fortunate enough to be a part of many successful teams. There are a few of them that I will never forget. Of those teams, I can still remember the name of every player I played with and the name of every coach I had. I can now add all 19 of you to that list. I will never forget you and what you did and accomplished this season. I love each and every one of you, and I am more proud of you than I can put into words. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Ha ha ha.
The Senior Sportsmanship Award. This award honestly could be done to any number of players, but I believe that these two exemplify sportsmanship, or the idea of sportsmanship in our team. One of these girls played soccer and was part of a team sport for the first time in her life. And for whatever reason, no matter where she was on the field, especially during practice, the soccer ball found a way to hit her. And most of the time with a lot of force. But no matter what, she always had a smile on her face. The other was so nice on the field that when a soccer player was knocked down or she pushed a player off the ball, she would actually stop in the middle of the game to ask if she was okay, forgetting that we were in the middle of the game. So I'm happy to award the Senior Girls Sportsmanship Award to Emily Graham and Julia Cuomo. This Senior S Award is actually being awarded to one of the youngest members of our team. She was thrust into the position, having to take over for one of our veterans on the team, and in a position that was fairly new to her. Those veterans' shoes were very big shoes to fill, and she couldn't have done a better job. She's a player that does all the little things that rarely get noticed, but are essential for a team to be successful. She was the heart of our defense, playing every minute of every single game this year. It gives me great pleasure to award the Senior S to Emily Wills. My Major S Award winners goes to a player that was thrown into every situation on the field, played every offensive position at some point throughout the year. I'm sure she was cursing my name at times because of how much I moved her around in the middle of the game. With that being said, this young lady is one of the quiet leaders of her team. She didn't always say much, but the way she played spoke volumes. She worked her butt off for everything and showed real determination every time she was on the field. This led to not only many scoring chances, but many goals, making her our leading goal scorer this year. I'm happy to award this first Major S to Brianna Graves. I was honestly not sure what order to do the following two awards in, mainly because both of them together were an integral part of this team. So I literally had to pull names out of the hat. The next Major S Award winner goes to a young lady whose love and passion for soccer and all things Stanstead is plastered all over her face. She refuses to quit, refuses to give up, and she would do anything she could to help her team succeed, even if it meant playing injured. She's a natural leader and an inspiration to her teammates. We would not have been the team we were without her on the field. She was the second leading goal scorer on our team, but could have easily competed for top spot. She only learned to keep her shots under the bar and didn't have to do so many push-ups. So I am happy again, very happy again to award this next Major S to Caleb Willett. The final major S goes to another amazing young lady whose love of soccer may actually exceed my own. When she could, she would get to the field early before practice and stay late, always trying to better herself in an attempt to make the team better. Like Kayla, we would not have been the team we were without her on the field, and especially in the middle of the park. She refused to give up no matter what. She never wanted to leave the field again, even if injured. Her emotional presence and love of the game helped inspire the teammates around her to become the best they could be. Again, I am very happy to wear this next major dress to my day. The final award tonight will actually be shared between two of the toughest, most determined young people I've ever had the pleasure of knowing and coaching. It is appropriate that they share this award because they were the heart of this team. They were fierce, tenacious, passionate, determined, and would sacrifice anything for the betterment of the team. As a coach, you hope to have leaders on the team who take control and bring a team together. I was fortunate enough with these two, that as our team captains, I didn't really have to say or do much. They took control, led by example, and made the team theirs. I am so happy and so proud to present this trophy to our co-captains, Maya Daigle and Kayla Willett. Again, thank you very much. Thank you so much to you 19 players. As I mentioned before, I love each and every one of you. And thank you so much for everything you gave to me and this team and the school this year. And again, I will never forget. Thank you.
That officially concludes our fall athletic assembly. Thanks to all of the athletes. Thanks to all the coaches. And thanks to all of you for your attention and support. It was first rate. Thank you for that. Will the MVP trophy winners please stay behind for special photos? And just about done, please rise as the coaches leave. Have a good night and have a great break.